Hello, Flaherty fans. Colin once again has crafted a magnificent article for the American Thinker. As always, the link is in the description. Might as well give it a click. Head on over there in case their tracking website hits. Alright, on to the article titled The Wicked Witches of Silicon Valley by Colin Flaherty, August 1st, 2018. Maybe someday the children of Silicon Valley will hear the same kind of stories Delaware kids used to hear about the DuPont family. How they built roads and schools and universities and became the world leader in what was the world's most important industry, chemicals. Delaware's hometown industrial giant owned large stakes in GM, the Empire State Building, Broadway shows, Indian motorcycles, gunpowder, nylon, and lots of other expensive toys that fueled the industrial age. DuPont employed 12% of the workforce in Delaware. But somewhere along the way, it all became too much. DuPont was charging too much for gunpowder and making too much money selling paints and fabrics to GM. Finally, federal trustbusters broke them up. As kids, we really never knew why, other than that was just a natural order of things that government did to rich and powerful and successful people. The kind who supplied the ammo and explosives to win 2 world wars. Maybe there was some price fixing, some collusion, some nod, wink kind of things as well. Apparently it was really bad, because that company received, in effect, if not the death penalty, then life without parole. But whatever the DuPont family and their companies did with their economic power, they never dreamed of committing 1/10 of the abuse we see every day from the hyper-monopolistics of YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, et al. These, even in the face of unprecedented corporate abuse, are untouched by cowering government regulators. Republican leaders in Washington are finally starting to figure out what conservative publishers, big and small, have known for years. We are targets of banning and censorship based solely on our ideology. All this is made possible by the monopolistic powers of America's biggest liberals, all while YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter deny it on one hand, then explain why it is necessary on the other. Instead of listing all the conservative web and news sites that have seen their traffic and business slashed in half by liberal anarchist socialist hive mind, including Breitbart, American Thinker, Alex Jones, Dennis Prager, Jared Taylor, it would be easier to say that no conservative publisher knows any conservative leader who has not been censored, banned, removed, or thwarted. Everyone, all at great financial expense. Let's admit this too. The threat of censorship is causing a lot of people to pull a lot of punches. This is true especially in the area where they feel most vulnerable. Black violence and denial wildly out of proportion. Meanwhile, traditional liberal sites flourish with their newfound placement, privilege in the algorithms of these information bullies, all at great profit, all by people who never figured out the difference between fact gathering and spell weaving. No matter what they say or how they say it, the liberal sites are immune to this intellectual blackmail. How else do you suppose Salon, the Young Turks, and hundreds of their clones stay in business? Now, these same people responsible for the greatest abuses in industrial history are creating even more abuse. The monopolists at YouTube, etc., think that depending on the Southern Poverty Law Center for help with censoring conservatives will fool lawmakers into thinking the censorship happens at arm's length. The SPLC also helps the FBI with the same kind of unverified hocus pocus the FBI is supposed to protect us from, not corrode. It's called the Bill of Rights. Even conservative TV and radio networks are afraid to challenge the authority of these gatekeepers. As someone whose videos and writings on black violence and media denial have been bent, folded, spindled, and mutilated, I've seen these abuses up close. Most of the abuse comes from the family jewels, their algorithms, the most tightly guarded secret formulas in history. This much we do know. The algorithms are fueled by organized liberal complaints that almost always take the form of, "We don't like what that site said," more than, "What that site said is wrong." Make no mistake, the internet can be a rough place for obscenity and vulgarity of all kinds. When that happens on my channel, I ban offenders with a speed that would astonish even the most enthusiastic member of the YouTube thought police. But obscenities is not what most of the banning is about. Most of the banning is a result of groups of liberals targeting the YouTube et al. Algorithms with complaints, and YouTube, etc., taking these unmoderated, unverified, largely false allegations like an easy mark for a carnival barker. We never learn why, other than what we can figure out from the crackling hyenas and their mocking emails bragging about their censorship, and how easy it was, and how fun it was to take down a YouTube channel like mine, with 120 million views and 65,000 subscribers. Not that Google and YouTube et al. Need help. This 2017 headline from the black website TheRoot.com tells the whole story. Google just dropped $11 million to make sure #Black Lives Matter. That includes videos, conferences, grants, and lots of sympathy for the greatest lie of our generation, the hoax of black victimization. And please, let's not pretend this manipulation was not intended to affect the outcome of the 2006 election and other conservative goals. YouTube et al. Did their part to kill conservative thought leaders. Hillary's gang tried, but could not finish the job. But YouTube et al. Have doubled down, reminding the hayseeds that the big city folks know what's best. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, more and more members of Congress are pretending this is the first they've ever heard of this. All that's missing is for Congressman Nunes or Issa or Gowdy or any of the other members who are so big on talk and so short on action to look at the lens and order Jeff Sessions to round up the usual suspects. And when YouTube et al. Hear about the kabuki investigations, they laugh at us and wait for the day they can tell their children how, like with the DuPonts, they conquered their world. Except this time, they were laughing and bragging at their victims, with nothing but sniveling compliance from the people who are exposed to make sure this never happens. Colin Flaherty is the author of that scintillating bestseller, Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. He's been kicked off of YouTube at great expense 5 times. Now you can find his videos at minds.com/Colin Flaherty. Hope you enjoyed my reading, and I hope this did not make the black kids angry, but I think it did, because without leftist totalitarians to persuade the masses, they might not get their free stuff.